Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Face Hacking, the Science of Attraction. So what is my channel all about? As the name says, the aim of our channel is to decode facial attractiveness and solve it such that everyone can have an attractive face, because we think that everyone deserves to have an attractive face. And yeah, basically yes. So let's begin the introduction video. Society is concerned about looks. We live in a superficial society obsessed with facial attractiveness, and having a nice attractive face is a huge advantage. It is. Models such as Giselle Bundchen, Taylor Hill, Gigi Hadid, you can see on screen, are all revered for their beauty and attractiveness over all else. Hollywood is filled with serenely attractive faces like Leonardo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, Gal Gadot, Margot Robbie, Emma Watson, and was filled in the past with equally stunning faces. As you can see, many years ago there was James Dean, there was Audrey Hepburn, all these people. On online dating apps such as Tinder, OkCupid, where people look for dates and partners, facial attractiveness above all else seems to be the most important thing for success. After all, if you are unattractive, you won't get many matches, and unfortunately, this really is true. As you can see, there was an article on OkCupid which they went over this, but that's for another video. We have subreddits where people rate each other based on attractiveness. You look at what is it? Rate me, am I ugly? All these subreddits. Facial appearance remains a huge concern to many people. As to why these subreddits exist, I really don't know. But the fact is, they do exist and people do care about how they look. Mark Zuckerberg created FaceMatch to rate the appearance of girls in Harvard. Even in the best school in America with super intelligent people, they still cared about looks. And lastly, if there ever was a prime example of facial attractiveness being used to one's benefit, Jeremy Meeks was a criminal whose mugshot got posted online. You may be familiar with him, but if you aren't, his mugshot went viral with women fawning over the picture of the hot felon. Women were responding to his face like this. As you can see, it is very unnerving. He was then bailed out $1 million in bail dollars, if I'm not wrong, and became a model. So the moral of the story is, if you are a prisoner, you just need to look attractive and women will bail you out. So what really makes... I'm kidding, of course. So what really makes a face attractive? Studies cite symmetry, studies cite averageness, but that's not enough. There is a bigger secret at play here. Yes, symmetrical and average faces are technically more attractive, but it isn't comprehensive enough. It's a lazy excuse. I can find you many unattractive faces that are both symmetrical and average, and that tells you something. Here on this channel, Face Hacking, the Science of Attraction, we aim to understand everything related to facial attractiveness and relationships with the end goal of solving facial unattractiveness, such that everyone can benefit. So then, let's get into the content of my channel. Okay, the first section. The core series is a summary of all the content in my channel before we go in depth into each section individually. As you can see, it's just more or less 7 videos that summarize my content. After we finish these 7 videos, you'll have a good idea about how facial dimensions influences make choice, among other things. Of course, I'll be doing this section first because it is the foundation after which we build our videos upon. Now onto the second section, rethinking facial attractiveness. In this section, I'm going to explain exactly what makes the face attractive, because this section is key to understanding other parts. This section will be done first. A lot of this section will revolve around this bone called the maxilla, and I'm going to argue that the dimensions of this bone will determine if you look like this, or this, like this, or this, like this, or like this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video list. We will go ahead and discuss all these things in the individual videos. For now, just take a look and we move on to the next section, the game. What if I told you that your facial dimensions were the most important factor influencing your success with women? What if I told you that women choose partners exclusively based on facial dimensions first? They aren't aware of this behavior and it is totally subconscious. Attractive people are more desirable and have easier times finding partners in short-term relationships. But what if we could go beyond that and explain how your facial dimensions affects your number of partners and your success with women? What if I told you by simply comparing your site profile with a woman's, you will be able to tell 1. If she is attracted to you, 2. The likelihood of you being friend-zoned by her, and 3. The likelihood of her rejecting you or not. What if I told you by looking at your site profile, you would be able to tell how attractive or high value you are to a woman. Again, emphasis that it is totally subconscious, it is a subconscious instinct and she would not be aware of any of it. How women determine whether you are friend-zone material or super attractive is again linked to this specific facial dimension, not so much how alpha or dominant you are. This is a huge claim and the onus is on me to show it. Why are some guys successful with girls while others are not? Again, I'm going to show that it's all due to facial dimensions. What if I told you that social constructs such as the SJW radical feminist movement, rape culture, the red pill, incels. In fact, as you can see by this picture, they have alluded that facial dimensions could play a role. Men going their own way or MG toxic masculinity, sexual harassment, and even school shootings all are innately linked to maxillofacial dimensions in a way. We can basically explain and account for everything. Why do women cheat? Why do women do this? Why do women do that? All of female behavior. They say the female mind is complex. It's because they haven't decoded it yet. Moving on, why women are willing to leave abusive relationships after getting beaten. Why 26-year-old Florida female teachers have inappropriate relations with 14-year-olds. These seemingly illogical behaviors. All linked to the maxilla, the face, and facial dimensions. Let's take a look at the video list. It is a very long list. We can explain almost all female behaviors in attraction. As you can see, it is very long. It does take up the bulk of videos in my channel. But like I said, it is worth doing because it is the most interesting and it is the section which has the most implications and the section that can help everyone the most as well. And of course, almost every aspect of how looks shape society as well. Okay, so on to the next section, facial attractiveness and orthodontics. I'm going to show how your beautiful and attractive faces are a result of factors like diet, how hard it is, how soft it is, your breathing habits, your head posture, your tongue posture, which can then make the difference between you looking like this and like this. But why orthodontics? The profession of orthodontics is closely linked because orthodontic treatment involves the application of forces to the teeth. The teeth are connected to the maxilla like so. Therefore, if you move the position of the teeth, the maxilla changes and the whole face changes. In these pictures, one twin sister underwent extraction orthodontics treatment while the other did not. Look at their faces. Can you see the difference? Orthodontics will play a large role in my videos because it is the profession that literally remodels the face. Facial attractiveness is not fixed and it can be changed with external forces applied to the maxilla and the face. The maxilla bone, as I am referring to, was the bone I showed you at the start of the video. Let's take a look at the video list. As I produce videos in this section, you will eventually understand how attractive faces are not a result of good genes so much, but many times just pure circumstance. For example, if you grow up in a country with a softer diet, you are more likely to have an unattractive face. If you grow up in a country with a harder diet, you are more likely to have an attractive face. Again, this is just a arbitrary correlation, not 100%, but there is a correlation nonetheless. Now on to the next section, evolutionary perspective. So what does an attractive face signal? Does it signal high levels of testosterone? Does it signal a strong immune system? Does it signal maybe higher levels of aggression and dominance? Does it signal good genes? You'd be surprised to know that it is none of those things and is instead something else entirely. I'll be explaining how facial attractiveness in today's society is what scientists call an evolutionary mismatch, a trait that is outdated in today's society. After all, having an attractive face in itself doesn't technically contribute anything to society at all. Yet somehow we are obsessed over attractive faces. But why? What if we could hack facial attractiveness so that no one had to worry about being unattractive? Here is the video list as usual. There you go. It is the shortest section so far, or the second shortest. In the next section, literature review, I'm going to be taking a look at existing papers published on facial attractiveness and mating. Why is because most papers are onto something, but the ideas in this channel can technically unify all of them and explain if they are right or wrong. Let's take a look at the video list. Again, this list is not as comprehensive as there are many papers out there on facial attractiveness and mate choice, but for now this is just an arbitrary list. Now onto the last section, solutions. As I mentioned at the start of this channel, the end goal of this channel is to solve facial unattractiveness. We will be taking a look at existing orthodontic devices on the market and evaluate their effectiveness, as well as look at a possible alternate solution that, of course, when used, aims to remodel the face such that it becomes more attractive. Again, our end goal such that people who look like this can have their face transformed. Not so much in terms of facial features, but in terms of the bone structure, whereby the maxilla would remodel upwards and forwards, resulting in a sharper jawline, stronger cheekbones, a more projected face without the use of any invasive surgery like this. Let's take a look at the video list. And that's it. We are done covering the content of this channel. Now you have a good idea of what this channel is all about. Okay, this is pretty premature as the channel has just begun, but if there are any of you out there who fall into these categories and align with my vision of solving facial unattractiveness, you can email me at the email in the screen. For academics, I'm looking to work with academics with research interest on facial attractiveness and mate choice to test out my ideas. For orthodontists, I'm looking to work with orthodontists on a solution to solve facial unattractiveness, especially if you are in favor of non-extraction methods and expansion rather than invasive tooth pulling and braces. I have a design of an alternate variant of palate expander that can achieve upwards and forwards maxillary growth, and that again its aim is to put it in commercial production and replace braces as the primary form of orthodontic treatment. For privacy reasons, of course, I can't disclose the design here, but for those, there you go. For those with expertise in coding, programming, and video editing, you are interested to help, you are definitely welcome. I plan to expand to a website and increase the quality of video production as we go along. So more help in terms of the coding, the web design, and video production. If you have expertise, you're always welcome. For members of the public, do follow the channel and spread the word if you find it interesting. I'll put links to my Patreon, my Discord, and the relevant channels in the video description. And in the next video, I'm going to be covering the first of the course series, Rethinking Facial Attractiveness, What Makes a Face Attractive. In this video, we'll lay out the principles of how to quantify facial attractiveness, and you'll be able to use these principles for yourself to understand what makes a face attractive. Of course, this video is not in isolation. Like I said, you're going to have to wait for more videos and then you'll see the big picture. This video should be out in 4 days, so just hang on, especially if you're very curious as to what I'm going to explain. And that's it. See you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, do remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me a lot. Like, really a lot, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.